Oh no, not today of all days. Not in the middle of nowhere, Angela groaned, banging the steering wheel with her fists repeatedly. The hatchback car had revved to a halt in the middle of the grassland, leading to the house where she was to receive her orientation for her new job. She opened the door, stepped out, and slammed it shut again, hitting the car in frustration. Palms shielding her eyes from the sun rays, she could just about see the house in the distance. Although she could cover it by foot, the sun was blazing hot. Nice time to run out of luck. She let out a frustrated shriek which echoed across the grassland and faded in the distance. Her phone battery was dead, so there was no way for her to reach the central office and request a tow truck. The area was deserted, except for a few mailboxes and a decrepit old cabin that looked uninhabited. She locked her car and made a mental note to call for a tow once she arrived at her destination. Hopefully, the car would be safe out here. Angela opened the trunk and took out her dingy duffel bag and trudged toward the direction of the house. After some time walking, she noticed that she was getting closer to the house, and she started whistling a country tune softly. She passed by a doss house brimming with customers. Why didn't I see this place from the distance? She wondered, staring suspiciously at the house. Her steps became heavier, clad with fatigue. She wasn't used to covering such a long distance on foot. Her thighs were clammy as they rubbed together, her skin itchy, palms sweaty, and her blouse drenched with sweat, which clung to her chest, giving a clear view of her bra. She could feel sweat sliding down from her neckline down to her cleavage. Finally, after what seemed like eons, but was actually half an hour, she arrived at the house situated on a rocky hill, surrounded by the grassland. Duffel bag in one hand, she knocked on the door, moving her weight from one leg to the other. The door opened, and a crow flew out, almost plucking out her eyes. She shrieked in fright and ran back down the front walk. "Angela! Angela!" someone called out, causing her to stop. She turned around and found Diamond, her friend, on the porch, smiling widely, arms open wide. She huffed, trying to catch her breath. She strode back to Diamond reluctantly, her eyes looking around cautiously for the crow. Her shoulders relaxed a bit when she realized that it was gone. "It's so good to see you, Angela." "Can't say the same for you, Diamond." Angela wasn't one to butter up her feelings. "What's with that crow and this deserted area? I was expecting a livelier neighborhood." There was the cliché white picket fence and double garage, but she was expecting more. "I've been waiting for you. You should have been here over an hour ago. What happened?" Diamond shot back, guiding her into the house, left hand laden with Angela's bag. "My car broke down somewhere downhill. My phone's dead, so I couldn't call a tow. That's, by the way, is this the place?" "Sorry about the crow. Crazy pet of theirs. Yeah, this is it. Sorry about your car, too. I should have told you. It's normal for cars to break down at that point," Diamond explained offhandedly, as if she were talking about the weather. Angela's eyes widened, mouth opened in surprise. "Normal? There must be a different version of normal around here." Diamond let out a nervous laugh, wringing her hands anxiously, hoping that Angela wouldn't give up on taking the job. She really needed her to cover for her so that she could go visit her family in Colorado. "Have a seat, Angela. It's a hot day, so let me get you a glass of lemonade to cool off." "Make that a pitcher," Angela responded, eyes dancing with mirth as she plopped onto the comfy armchair close to the fireplace. She observed the house, internally complimenting the natural lighting pouring in from the French window. In a jiffy, Diamond returned with the lemonade in one hand and a plate of cookies in the other. As she chugged down the drink thirstily, Diamond launched into her job description. "My friend and her husband are going for a tour of Europe. Such a sweet couple. she gushed, her eyes lighting up. Okay, so, Angela urged her on. You'll house sit for them until they get back. They must be swimming in money, Angela mused, observing the expensive furniture. Yeah, they own quite a fortune, Diamond replied lowly. I'm in, Angela said eagerly, hands clasped together like an excited school kid. Come on, let me show you around. And this is the deck. Perfect for the weather. Diamond opened the screen door, pointing outside. She had given her a complete tour of the entire house. Angela noticed a few hanging baskets of flowers on the cladding. She breathed in the fresh air. I'm definitely gonna have a great time here. Besides, she thought further, the $1,500 paycheck wasn't an amount to pass up. Diamond hugged her. Thank you, Angel. This means so much. Anytime. Anytime it involved money, she meant. Angela sang in a slightly off-key voice, swaying her body to the beat of the music playing on her headphones. It was the second week since she'd accepted to house sit for Diamond's friends. The house was really quiet, so she decided to play some music to send the looming boredom away. She kept singing, a tub of ice cream in one hand. She imagined what it would have been like if she had passed up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a weekend with Pete instead. This big, beautiful, warm house stocked with food. Who wouldn't want that? Angela gasped, abandoning the ice cream and headphones on the table. She had forgotten to take out the clothes from the washing machine. She ran upstairs, 2 steps at a time, to the washroom. She turned on the lights. Her nose turned up, the fetid air in the washroom sending her senses reeling. She held her nose and walked toward the machine. As she opened the washing machine, the lights flickered off. Damn it, should have come up with a flashlight. The lights flickered on again. She shook her head and proceeded to take out the clothes. Angela took out the first 2 garments, but on the third, something grabbed her hands and she screamed, her heartbeat racing. She kept struggling until she fell backward, freed from the hold. She got up immediately, panting, and looked around the washroom in fright. She carried the clothes she was able to remove and walked hastily toward the exit. A step from the door, it swung open. She gasped, stepping backward slowly. A gust of wind blew in, dragging the floorboard from underneath her. She shrieked on the way down, struggling to get back up. The clothes had fallen on top of her, but as she tried to free herself, a chilly air went through the clothes, and they wrapped themselves around her neck, restricting her airflow. She choked, gasping for breath. She tried to loosen the clothes, but the more she tried, the more they tightened. She gave up eventually, hands falling limply to her side, vision growing dark. But the clothes finally loosened their grip. She coughed, rubbing her neck. Tears ran down her face freely. What the hell was going on? She managed to get up and make her way out of the washroom. On her way downstairs, she felt an unearthly presence behind her. She stopped and turned slowly. But nothing was there. She walked faster. Something pulled her leg, and she held onto the railing, struggling to free herself. Tears still flowing freely, she cried, "Let me go! Please let me go!" Suddenly, the tugging stopped. She looked around unsurely, to be certain that it was over. After a minute, she reached downstairs. She had to call someone for help to get out of this creepy house that very night, somehow. She looked at the table where she had left her ice cream tub, but it wasn't there anymore. A panic rose in her chest, constricting her lungs. Her breath came out short and forced. Angela's eyes darted around the room, unable to settle on one spot. Suddenly, she noticed it. A figure on the armchair, sipping a cup of tea. The ground reeled, and she fainted in a heap on the floor. When she woke up, she was tucked into her bed. She turned around, snuggling deeper, and then realization dawned on her. She ripped off the sheets immediately and jumped off the bed. She looked around in confusion as the enormity of her situation began to sink in. She looked around anxiously and found her phone on the dresser. She rushed towards it and dialed the first number that came to mind. It rang for what felt like years, and finally, "Hey, Angel, how's the job going? I'm positive you're handling it smoothly," Pete rasped out. Still frightened, she looked around anxiously. "Listen, Pete, you have to come and help me. My car broke down on the way here last week. This house is haunted. A lot of creepy things have happened tonight. Pete, I'm scared." Her voice dissolved into sobs. "What? Where are you, Angela? Are you in danger?" "No, wait, I'll track your location. Can you describe where you are?" "It's a house on a rocky hill surrounded by grasslands, close to the college dorms." "All right, I'll be there in an hour or so. Stay on the line, okay, sweetheart? I'm coming. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You hear me? Don't..." Angela breathed shakily as she heard a knock on her room door. "Hold on, Pete. Someone's at the door." "Don't open it. Stay in your room," Pete ordered. "No, Pete, it might be Diamond or the owners of the house. I've got to find out," she responded, walking towards the door. "No, Angela, listen to me." Angela spaced out on Pete's words. She placed her hand on the doorknob, as if testing it, and pulled it open quickly. A figure stood on the other side with bloodshot eyes, smiling grimly. Angela shrieked, clasping her mouth with her hands. The thing lifted one fractured arm and extended it to her. "Angela?" Pete called out. "Angela!" Angela stared at the figure in front of her in a stunned beat of silence, and then let out an ear-piercing scream.
Subscribe today, or beware.